welcome to the semifinals of the Inter-Secondary School Impromptu Speaking Competition, brought to you in association with Caribbean Union Bank.
Driven by you, we're better every day. Driven by you, together a brighter way. Caribbean Union Bank, you matter to us. Caribbean Union Bank, our people, our purpose. Every day at Caribbean Union Bank, we are committed to creating the kinds of products and services that you want and need. We are not just a bank. We are your partner on your journey to financial freedom and success, because we are driven by you. Driven by you, we're better every day. Driven by you, together a brighter way.
Good evening and welcome to the semifinals of the Inter-Secondary School Impromptu Speaking Competition, brought to you in association with Caribbean Union Bank. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. If you're here with us in our studio audience or at home, we're truly grateful that you're taking the time out to be with us. We have 8 schools who will be competing this evening for the coveted title of Impromptu Speaking Champions. In the semifinals, we have 8 schools. They are Antigua Girls High School, St. Anthony's Secondary School, Iron B. Williams Secondary School, St. Joseph's Academy, Antigua Grammar School, Trinity Academy, Sonovel Richards Academy, and Clear Hall Secondary. Please put your hands together for all our participating schools. We are truly delighted to have you all here with us this evening. Representing our schools, we have 8 talented students. I will tell you who they are as soon as I remind you of the rules for this encounter. The rules for this round of competition are as follows. Each impromptu speaker will draw a number from an envelope to determine the position in which they will speak. The number drawn will determine the topic on which he or she will speak. Speakers will be given a maximum of 3 minutes for mental preparation. Impromptu speakers are not allowed to formulate written notes during preparation time and are expected to speak extemporaneously. In the semifinals, each speaker will have a maximum of 2 minutes to make his or her presentation. The bell will sound once at the beginning of the final minute and twice when the maximum allotted time would have expired. In addition to the presentations in the semifinal, the final rounds, and the final rounds, there will be a question and answer segment. Besides the presenter, at least one additional member of the debate team will attend the encounter. While each speaker is making his or her presentation, the additional debate team members will formulate questions based on that presentation. The questions will be passed to the judges, who will select one question to which the speaker will have 1 minute to respond. Our judges this evening are Ursel Charles Jr., Director of News and Current Affairs at ABS TV, Sharon Herbert, Social Sector Planner, and Gavin Emmanuel, Director of the National Archives. A round of applause for our esteemed panel of judges. Our timekeeper, as always, is the lovely and hard-working Miss Aisha Lynch. It is now time to meet our representatives before we take our break. From the Antigua Girls High School, please welcome Lillian Munoz. St. Anthony's Secondary School, Cameron Jackman. From the Iron B. Williams Secondary School, Raphael Davis. St. Joseph's Academy, Uchenna Oheblam. The Antigua Grammar School's representative is Shanoy Malone. From the Trinity Academy, Dehija Peters. Sonovel Richards Academy, James Atwood. And last, but by no means least, the representative from the Clearhall Secondary School, Tiaika Edwards. And these are our competitors this evening, our presenters from 8 schools right here in Antigua and Barbuda. On that note, we will be taking our first break. When we return, the competition begins.
Driven by you, we're better every day. Driven by you, together a brighter way. Caribbean Union Bank, you matter to us. Caribbean Union Bank, our people, our purpose. Every day at Caribbean Union Bank, we are committed to creating the kinds of products and services that you want and need. We are not just a bank. We are your partner on your journey to financial freedom and success. Because we are driven by you. Driven by you, we're better every day. Driven by you, together a brighter way.
Much for staying with us, and welcome back to the Inter-Secondary School Impromptu Speaking Competition, brought to you with the kind compliments of Caribbean Union Bank. Today, we begin the semifinals for the Inter-Secondary School Impromptu Speaking Competition. To begin, the St. Joseph's Academy, please welcome Uchenna Oheblam. And he will be speaking on the topic, is capital punishment ethical? Is capital punishment ethical? Please welcome him.
Good evening, Madam Moderator, judges, listening and viewing audiences. My topic today refers to whether or not capital punishment is an ethical practice. Now, firstly, what is capital punishment? Capital punishment simply refers to using economic means to reprimand an offender. Now, as we all know, ladies and gentlemen, the way to effectively punish someone is to take away something which is dear to them. And for many people, that is their money. And that is why capital punishment is a method that is widely used by persons. Now, we've seen capital punishment being used by nations such as in the Ukraine versus Russia war, to try and weaken their economy so that they can abide by what they feel is right. Now, on the matter of whether or not it is ethical, comes to the extent to which you use capital punishment. Now, if you're using capital punishment to the extent where the nation or the person can no longer feasibly provide for themselves, then capital punishment becomes unethical, as money is necessary for us to cater to our basic needs. However, if it is to the point where the person is doing something which is truly wrong and use it as a form of punishment to get them to do what is right, and they can still reasonably provide for themselves, then in my opinion, it is an ethical practice and it should be used. I thank you.
Right, Uchenna, thanks so much for your presentation. Our question from the judges' table is a mixture of our question with one of the questions submitted from the students. Hanging is the course of capital punishment used in Antigua Barbuda. Do you think that's the best course of capital punishment, or what other course would you recommend? Let me repeat that. All right. Hanging is the course of capital punishment used in this country. Do you agree that that's the best course of action where capital punishment is concerned, or would you recommend another course?
Well, in my personal opinion, the practice of hanging publicly, to me, it seems quite outdated as a form of punishment. I believe that if you're looking to executions, we should look towards more modernized means, be it the electric chair or gases or things of that nature, rather than hanging, which could be interpreted as something which is quite brutal and unethical. So I think painless means rather than that hanging method, in my opinion. Thank you.
Thank you, Uchenna. That was Uchenna Oheblam representing the St. Joseph's Academy. He completed his presentation in a time of 1 minute and 42 seconds. Give him a round of applause. We now move on to our second competitor, hailing from the Iron B. Williams Secondary, Raphael Davis. And Raphael's topic is, what are the main advantages of taxation? What are the main advantages of taxation? Please welcome the Iron B. Williams Secondary.
The main advantage of taxation, in my opinion, it helps to build the country's infrastructure. What do I mean by this? Let's say the country has to build a preschool, but the government doesn't have the funds. Taxation will allow the government to collect money from the citizens, a small amount of money, any amount of money from the citizens, and they can pool it together to put into the development of the preschool. And the reason why I think this is a good thing is because since it's from the whole country and not just one person or set of persons, it wouldn't be too strenuous for the people to put in funds for the country. Another advantage of taxation is because since it's a law and you have to pay taxation, pay taxes, this will allow people that are willing or don't want to help the country still put in and make an effort. So it's still not too strenuous on everybody else, and everybody puts in a piece of it. Because you can't be living in the country and not contributing to it. So in conclusion, the main advantages of taxation are it helps to build the country's infrastructure, and it allows people who aren't willing or don't care about the country to still make an effort and help the development of the said country.
Do you think that it is a bad thing for people to not want to pay taxes? I'll repeat. Do you think that it is a bad thing for people to not want to pay taxes?
Do I think that it's a bad thing for people not wanting to pay taxes? Yes and no. Okay, the reason why it could be a bad thing, or why I think it's a bad thing, is because it's depending on the person's reasoning or the situation. If the reason they don't want to pay the taxes is because they can't afford to, or they're in a certain situation where they're not able to, and I think that's not a bad reason, because before you support others, you have to support yourself, because you come first. Second, but also, I think it would be a bad thing if the person is capable of paying the taxes, but they don't want to, not because they aren't able to, but because they just don't feel to contribute to the country. So is not paying not wanting to pay taxes a bad thing? Not necessarily. It just depends on the person's reasoning.
Thank you, Raphael Davis, team Iron B. Williams Secondary. Give them a round of applause. He completed his presentation in a time of 1 minute and 30 seconds. We now move on to our third competitor this evening, the Hydra Peters, hailing from the Trinity Academy. And her topic is, should the entertainment tax be increased? Should the entertainment tax be increased? Please welcome Trinity Academy, the Hydra Peters.
Good afternoon, Madam Moderator, esteemed judges, guests. Today I was given the topic, should entertainment tax be increased? Before I dive into this topic, let me first discuss with you the key terms. Entertainment is defined as something that is used to generally bring people joy, entertain them. Tax is defined as the financial fees and obligations imposed by the government onto its residents. And increased is defined as the general rise in something. I disagree with this statement. Firstly, Antigua and Barbuda is a relatively low-income country, yes. And when you think about it, for general persons working in the government system, they make around $2,000 every month. And with Antigua's recent rise in the tax rate of 15%, that means persons who are making $2,000 are also paying $300 in taxes monthly. Combine that with the home necessity bills and other bills that are necessary, why should we have to pay for entertainment? Take this for example. You're going to the movies, you have to pay for transport, you have to pay for food, and you already have to pay for the movie in general. Why should I have to be paying tax on that? It's not right. There is a rather different solution to this, though. One may say that the government can use the resources that Antigua and Barbuda has to offer, and they can use this in order to bring the country into a better financial state instead of bringing persons into a bad financial situation. In conclusion, the entertainment tax should not be increased because Antigua and Barbuda citizens are not in a position to pay this. Thank you.
Your question is, how would you propose the government should earn revenue from the entertainment industry other than tax? How would you propose the government should earn revenue from the entertainment industry other than tax?
The government can put on fundraising shows. They can basically advertise themselves, and they can put on fundraisers such as short films and other kind of short movies to showcase what they would consider something cultural. So they can also benefit from the tourism industry at the same time. Thank you.
Come on, a greater round of applause. Give it up for Dehydra Peter. Representing Trinity Academy, she completed her presentation in a time of 2 minutes and 2 seconds. Come on, another round of applause for all our students. It's not easy to do what they're doing, so I am extremely proud of them. We now move on to competitor number 4. Hailing from the Antigua Girls High School, Lillian Munoz. And her topic today will be, should national health insurance be implemented in Antigua and Barbuda? Should national health insurance be implemented in Antigua and Barbuda? Please welcome Team Antigua Girls High School.
Good evening. I will be making a presentation on why national health insurance must be implemented in Antigua and Barbuda. Health entails physical and emotional well-being, while insurance are those money allocated and put aside in case of a loss, and in this case, in case of an emergency. I will discuss the negative impacts if this national health insurance is not implemented, and the positive effects that it will have in Antigua and Barbuda. The negative effects are great. If someone is faced with a challenge where they get diagnosed with cancer, now the person did not know that they would have this cancer and this illness, so you cannot say that they are prepared, especially in Antigua, where a lot of persons are in poor conditions. With the national health insurance, we can lessen the burden of these individuals. And let's not talk about the impact. If you're not in a mental and physical well-being, you're affecting those around you, in your workplace, at school, at home. And I will also now discuss my second point on what will happen if they are implemented. If the national health insurance is implemented, we'll have a better and happier home because persons are not worrying about the financial impact, the financial burden that they might be affected with if they're diagnosed with different illness. Look at COVID. We didn't know it was gonna come. Who knows what will be the next COVID? If they're implemented, we basically have this future, this hope that with national health insurance, we're covered. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Lillian. How are you?
Good afternoon.
All right, good. This is your question from the judges' table and from your peers. How would you convince someone to pay into the National Health Insurance Scheme if they think it's worthless because they have not been ill in a while? How do you convince someone to pay into the National Health Insurance Scheme if they think it's worthless because they have not been ill in a while?
Thank you for that question. That actually is a really good question, but we need to take into consideration that when one person is ill, it can be affecting others, where the COVID-19 virus, it wasn't kept to one person, it spreaded. And if we can tell this person that although you are not being impacted, maybe not now, but look at your children in the future, look at your aunts, uncles, and persons you work with. So with that being said, I think that can really convince someone that although I may not have been ill, there is a spread, there are things that happen. We know we live in a world that we don't know what's going to happen. And if they know this, and if they're sure that with this, their children are covered, their parents are covered, I think that can really convince someone. Thank you.
Thank you, Team Antigua Girls High School. Another round of applause. Give it up for Lillian Munoz. Her presentation was in the time of 2 minutes and 7 seconds. That is Team Antigua Girls High School. Her presentation was in a time of 2 minutes and 7 seconds. Now we move on to the Antigua Grammar School. Shanoy Malone, and he will be speaking on should parents be held responsible for youth delinquency? Should parents be held responsible for youth delinquency? Please welcome him.
Madam Moderator, ladies and gentlemen, and the judges, timekeeper as well, good afternoon. Today, I'm here to tell you whether or not parents should be held responsible for youth delinquency. Firstly, I believe that parents should be held responsible, but however, only to a certain extent. I believe that it's at a home where the student or a child should learn valuable lessons that make them a better person in society for the future. But I'm about to tell you why I think it should only be taken that far. I can tell you myself that youth today doesn't spend as much time at home as it would have been 20 years ago. I leave home at 6 o'clock in the morning. Yes, I know that's hard to believe, but I leave home at 6 o'clock in the morning. I go to school, I have classes after school, and then I'm a sailor. So I have training after that. So that entails going sailing or going to the gym or going for a run. So that means that I don't get home until 7 p.m. And it's within those hours, those interactions with that many people around me is where I learn most of my values that made the person I am today. So I think that with all that being said, although the parents and the family should be responsible for teaching the child valuable lessons, I think it also falls upon the schools and their peers to ensure that, they learn those valuable lessons that will keep them away from youth delinquency. Ladies and gentlemen, that is what I think about whether or not parents should be held accountable for youth delinquency, and I thank you for allowing me to hear my views.
Okay, and your question, with a combination of from your peers and the judges, if youth delinquency is a result of the company that students keep, what could the parents do to prevent this? I'll repeat. If youth delinquency is a result of the company that students keep, what could parents do to prevent this?
Panel and judges, I thank you for that question. And I didn't say this in my presentation, but I grew up with my grandparents, and they played a very important role in letting me know what right and wrong was. And I believe that they would have taught my parents those same lessons. And the saying, you are who you keep around you, and it's that phrase that I choose my friends by, and I think it falls upon the parents to ensure that a youth would know what the qualities of a good friend are, and then it'd be up to the student or the youth themselves to figure out what a good friend is and the friends that they should keep around them. I believe that the parent can only do so much, but it is their responsibility to let them know what that is. Thank you.
Team Antigua Grammar School, Shanoy Malone, another round of applause for him. He completed his presentation in a time of 1 minute and 47 seconds. We are moving on. Next, we have the Clear Hall Secondary School, Tiaika Edwards. Her topic is, what more can be done to engender national pride in Antigua and Barbuda? What more can be done to engender national pride in Antigua and Barbuda? Round of applause. Please welcome Team Clear Hall Secondary, Tiaika Edwards.
Good afternoon, Madam Moderator, distinguished judges, listening and viewing audience, and everyone else here. I was given the topic, what more can be done to engender national pride in Antigua and Barbuda? And when it comes to this topic, I have a lot of personal beliefs, too much to even fit into 3 minutes. But I do believe that national pride boils down to more than just the country itself, but to the people of the country that make this country a nation. I'll be focusing on 3 main points here. 1, educating people. 2, starting them from a young age to love and have pride in their country. And 3, doing things that make other people proud to say, I am Antiguan. Firstly, educating people. When it comes to any social issue that I would have brought up to my mother, she always tells me, educating people is one of the best ways to go. And I second that, because when you educate people about a problem, they're more likely to want to fix the problem and engage into a solution. Secondly, starting them at a young age. When you start children at a young age, their brains are, they're less developed, so they're easily persuaded and influenced. And if we start influencing children to have love and pride in their country, when they grow up, no one else can tell them any different. At my primary school, we used to have this saying, train a child up in the way they shall go, so that they will not depart. And when we train children up to love their country as much as we train them to love all these other things of the world, nobody else can come and say, oh, Antigua and Barbuda is not the best, because we will tell them different. Thirdly, doing things that make people proud to be Antigua and Barbudan. When people go out there and they see Jamaicans, you know it's a Jamaican. And they're never, ever ashamed to say that, because they have everything to be proud of. They're athletes, they're beautiful nature, their people, their culture. They have things to be proud of. And I do believe as Antiguans, we have to put in the work so that when we go out there, we can stand up and say, I am an Antiguan and I am proud of it. The young children, stop being so difficult and cantankerous. Let us be kind and loving so that people can know that we as Antiguans are loving people. I thank you.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Your question from your peers and the judges, how can somebody be proud of saying that they're from a country when sometimes people do things that make Antigua look bad?
Okay, thank you for that question. And I'd like to go back to what I would have said in my third point, that we as Antiguans need to do our job because a little goes a long way. And it all comes down to individuality. Yes, we are a nation, but if one person does something, they're not going to say that one Antiguan. They're going to say Antigua as a country. So I feel like we need to internalize it and do realize that we need to do our best to make our country look and seem like a good place so that other people can say, yeah, I'm from Antigua. I have a friend and he's an amazing runner, and I do believe that if he does go out and he represents Antigua, and I'm sure he would win, people would be proud to say that they're from a country where they have amazing athletes, where they have amazing people with amazing personalities and with amazing mindsets. So people should really just internalize it and realize that we do need to do our best to make Antigua a better place. Thank you.
That was a Tiaika Edwards team, Clear Hall Secondary. Give her another round of applause. She completed her presentation in a time of 2 minutes and 14 seconds. We are moving on to our 7th competitor this evening, hailing from the Senovel Richards Academy. Please welcome James Atwood. And he will be speaking on societal influences are stronger than parental guidance. Societal influences are stronger than parental guidance. Please welcome the Senovel Richards Academy, James Atwood.
Madam Moderator, distinguished judges, fellow opponents, listening and viewing audience, good evening. I am here today to stand by the moot which states societal influences are stronger than parental guidance. Most of you will say that parental guidance would be stronger as it is your home life and you learn a lot from it. However, I am here to say that if a parent doesn't know what's going on in your social life, then there's really no point to having a home life at all. I'm here today to tell you the negative and the positive effects of societal guidance. Thank you for being here. Firstly, I would like to state that societal guidance is practically peer pressure, but with older and younger audiences. Now, peer pressure is basically just being pressured into doing something by people your age, your classmates, and etc. With this, I would like to say that our youth of today are really fixated on trying to become popular and being acknowledged by their fellow peers. People like this are easy to fall into peer pressure and can easily do some negative things in our society, and others can do positive. Now, if, let's say, someone was to go out into public and they were to see or hear someone cursing inappropriate languages, that might teach the child, or him or her, that it's okay to say these words around in public. However, if a child sees an act of kindness in public, it might teach them that people should be shown kindness and respect no matter who they are or where they come from. This leads me to my next point, which states that societal influences can help determine your future. Now, like I said before, if someone hears inappropriate languages, they might say it in the future, and if someone sees an act of kindness, they might do it in the future. This will make the person grow up to believe that this is okay and this is not okay. It teaches them a sense of right and wrong and a sense of justice. In conclusion, I want to say that societal influences help determine your future just as much as parental guidance, if not better. Thank you for your time.
Good afternoon, James. Thanks for your patience. This is the question from your peers and the judges on the panel. I'll ask it twice. What could a parent do to better manage their child's social life? What could a parent do to better manage their child's social life?
Now, I would like to answer that question by saying a lot of parents in Antigua, a lot of people know a lot of people. Now, because of this, our parents will know certain teachers and certain people who work in certain places. This can result in a child being able to benefit in their home life and their social life at the same time, as the parents can easily be reported on the child's behavior and activities.
Round of applause for Team Sonovel Richards Academy, Mr. James Atwood, and he completed his presentation in a time of 2 minutes and 35 seconds. We're now down to our final competitor this evening, hailing from the St. Anthony's Secondary School, Cameron Jackman, and she will be speaking on the topic, what can be done to revitalize Calypso in Antigua and Barbuda? What can be done to revitalize Calypso in Antigua and Barbuda? Please welcome Team St. Anthony Secondary, Cameron Jackman.
Judges, listening and viewing audience, good day. Today I was given the task to speak on the topic, what can be done to revitalize Calypso in Antigua and Barbuda? Our government's effort to revitalize Calypso can be seen all throughout the carnival season when there's the junior monarch and regular monarch, Calypso monarch competition. Even though this is there, there's so much more that can be done to revitalize the genre. There can be things done like having Calypso tents to showcase our Calypsonians' talents. There can be Calypso camps to teach any known Calypsonians in Antigua and Barbuda how to perfect their craft. And there can be even meet and greets with already Calypsonians to teach our new audience that their dream can be achieved and it is possible. Our government's efforts to do this will hopefully revitalize the genre throughout the whole Caribbean. The whole Caribbean. Now, I have a question for you, audience. Wouldn't you like to hear that the next great Calypsonian came from our very own country of Antigua and Barbuda? Because I know I would. Thank you.
Cameron, we're down to the final impromptu speaker today. So this is your question. What can the government do to influence the youth to listen to the genre, as mostly younger people listen to Americanized music on the daily? Let me repeat. What can the government do to influence the youth to listen to the genre, as mostly younger people listen to Americanized music on a daily?
Some things that our government can do to influence our younger generation to listen to Calypso music can be to invite past Calypsonians to influence them, because our past Calypsonians will hopefully instill into them that Calypso is a genre in the Caribbean, and our young generation should be listening and promoting their music that they grew up listening with, or just something that's around their nation. So this is something that the government can do. Thank you.
Thank you, Cameron. That was Cameron Jackman, Team St. Anthony's Secondary. Give her a round of applause, please. She completed her presentation in a time of 1 minute and 18 seconds. Now, I think all our competitors did a phenomenal job. It is not easy to speak extemporaneously. There I go. Okay. So please give them a round of applause. Give all our speakers today a round of applause. And that item brings us to the end of round 2, the semifinals. We're going to take a break. When we return, we will hear from our judges who will move forward to the finals. Stay tuned.
Driven by you, we're better every day. Driven by you, together a brighter way. Caribbean Union Bank, you matter to us. Caribbean Union Bank, our people, our purpose. Every day at Caribbean Union Bank, we are committed to creating the kinds of products and services that you want and need. We are not just a bank. We are your partner on your journey to financial freedom and success. Because we are driven by you. Driven by you, we're better every day. Driven by you, together a brighter way.
Welcome back to the Inter-Secondary School Impromptu Speaking Competition brought to you in association with Caribbean Union Bank. The judges have tallied their scores and narrowed the pool of students and schools down to 3. 3 schools will move forward to the finals. To bring us the judges' report and feedback, please welcome Head Judge Mr. Ursel Charles Jr. Welcome him.
Thank you, Madam Moderator. Good evening to one and all. Thank you so much for having joined us here for the semifinals of the Impromptu Speaking Competition this year. It's very difficult for the judges to stand here with me in proxy to deliver results that we know will cause more disappointment than elation, as only 3 will progress and 5 will be left still in the semifinals. So, brace yourselves. For us, the competition ran the entire gamut. We heard some impressive presentations. We heard some disappointing presentations. We heard those that were quite bubbly and exciting. We heard those that were somewhat mundane, monotonous, even bordering on drab to some extent. But all in all, we thank you for your contributions here this evening. It was not easy to, first of all, prepare to speak extemporaneously on the topics that you were given. And second of all, it must have been very difficult to stand here waiting on a question. You weren't sure what curveballs will come your way. And having sat at the judges' table, we can tell you that your peers tried their best to trip you up with some of the questions that we got. But we tried to mainstream them as best as we could so that you would have a sensible question to which to respond. It would take me quite a long time to go through each debater, so I won't, or each speaker, so I won't do that this evening. We'll just present to you the top 3 schools. Is that okay? In no particular order. The top 3 schools into the finals of this year's CUB Impromptu Speaking Competition are the Irene B. Williams Secondary, round of applause. The Clare Hall Secondary, and the Antigua Girls High School. Congratulations to the 3 schools.
Thank you, Ursel, for bringing us the judges' decision. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. I am going to now invite our top competitors for the finals. Please welcome the Antigua Girls High School, Lillian Munoz. From the Irene B. Williams Secondary, Raphael Davis. And the Clare Hall Secondary, Tiaika Edwards. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen, students, our competitors for the finals. We're looking forward to a very exciting and exhilarating competition. You can feel it already, right? Yes, I can indeed. Now, we know that you will at home pick your winner. Maybe you attended the Antigua Girls High School. Maybe you attended the Clare Hall Secondary or the Irene B. Williams. But we want to encourage you to support all our students and all our schools and competitors in the Inter-Secondary School Impromptu and Debating Competition. Congratulations to all our schools for showing up today and for doing an excellent job. But a bigger congratulations goes out to, another round of applause, our top 3 schools. for making it into the final round of competition. This 2024 Intersecondary School Impromptu Speaking Competition comes to you in association with Caribbean Union Bank. That's all the time we have for this encounter. Until next time, we bring you the finals. Remember to stay positive and have a good evening. Bye-bye.